Hey, what's up, everyone? So I realized that the audio quality kind of sucks when I record on my iPhone here, so I'm going to use the little earpiece, so that's why it's in. I'm not trying to start a new fashion trend in videos here, just trying to make sure the audio quality is halfway decent. But the situation happened a couple days ago where Sierra got attacked. You can see on her neck right there. It's looking much better today than it was the previous days. But I'll put up a picture of what it was like right after surgery. She was viciously attacked by two German Shepherds from a now former acquaintance of mine that I used to go. He's a guy that owns these two German Shepherds, and they're just totally not. He doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to handle them. He doesn't have the strength to handle them. They're huge, and he doesn't know how to discipline them or train them at all. He doesn't know what to do. And so it's not the dog's fault, it's his fault. And they were ripping at Sierra's neck, and one dog was like sunk in on the back of her neck and pulling this way, and the other dog grabbed in the front, and that's what tore the left side of her neck. And it opened up the neck cavity, and it exposed some ligaments, and then also her windpipe. And so it was like kind of open. Initially, at first, it looked like just kind of like a little flesh wound, and then when I started looking at it, I realized that it was much larger than I originally anticipated. And we went to one vet, and the first vet just checked out the back of her neck. Was like, "Oh, she's fine. She's got a few tiny puncture wounds. It's nothing. Just skin abrasions." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then we were driving down the road, and I looked at Sierra's neck, and the underside of it, I started noticing a lot of blood was starting to come out, and I thought, "Oh, crap." And so they just missed that, and I went to a different hospital. I actually went to the pet hospital in Flagstaff, and they did surgery on her. She was there a total of 6 hours. And there was one dog in front of her for surgery, so she wasn't in surgery that whole time, obviously. And then they woke her up, and they had to keep her for a little bit just to make sure that she was waking up okay. And I was able to get her around 6 p.m. and got a hotel room in Flagstaff so that she would be comfortable. But she was just so out of it and whimpering a lot, and I think she was really disoriented and also scared. I mean, those German Shepherds are huge. I mean, they're fucking huge. And this guy is just an idiot for having them. And there's been issues with them before. And I asked, and I actually, there's even, I need to go through my messages, but I even had like I think it was like a Facebook message where he and I were chatting about this meetup where his dogs attacked Sierra, which, by the way, it happened immediately when she got out of the vehicle. She got out of the vehicle, they immediately jumped on her. But I had said in one of those messages, I was like, hey, you should leave Shadow back because that dog's really aggressive. There's been one instance in the past where there was one other time where I camped with this individual, and his other dog, Lexi, was fine. She and Sierra had fun running around, but then this go around, Lexi just totally tore into her. And then Shadow, the big one, was the one that tore in the front of her neck. And I grabbed Shadow, and I grabbed the back of its leash, and then I did tourniquet style, and I had my hand, and I choked it so that I could kind of like get its attention, and it let go of Sierra. And then I pushed it to the ground, and I was holding it down there, and then I went and I put my legs around it and just basically did like a wrestling bear hug from behind and just held the dog in place. And I'm surprised it didn't attack me. I was fully expecting for the dogs to turn on me because they just, when dogs are in attack mode, they're just biting. They would just bite me whether they meant to or not. And so I thought for sure I was going to get hit, but luckily that didn't happen. The owner was able to get the other dog off of Sierra with the help of one other individual. So that's 3 individuals to get his 2 dogs off of one dog where he couldn't fucking do it himself. And so, for dog owners out there that have these big dogs and you can't control them, like, fuck you. You people are the problem, And it's bullshit that you put people out in this situation. And, it could be life-threatening. What if that happens to a kid, If that happens to a toddler, you're going to jail for a long-ass time. So, with what happened to Sierra, luckily the situation wasn't any worse. I was right there next to her, so I was able to get it taken care of. And, I jumped in right away and was able to help out, but it was horrifying. I mean, she was screaming, she was yelping, and then she just kind of went like, her eyes were like, and they were really digging in, and it was just pain. You could see on her face, and she just went mute. She wasn't even saying anything. And I was screaming. I was like, get your fucking dogs off them, and all that stuff. So it was bad, and I was frustrated with it. But the good thing is that I've got the police in Maricopa County already working on the case. I'm going to be pressing charges for letting aggressive dogs roam free, and that's actually something that is, the police actually recommended it. They're like, hey, you should do this because this is a problem. And, they don't want people running around with dogs. You keep dogs like that on a leash. Or you just keep them at home. You keep them in a protected environment, because those dogs, dogs that aren't trained and the master that has no idea how to operate them, they're just a fucking loose cannon, So it's just crazy. But after I'm done with the police, I'm going to go on a civil lawsuit too, and then recoup all my additional expenses for the hotel, and then having to travel back to Kansas to give Sierra a secure place to stay while I crash in my folks' place while they're out of town, and give her time to recoup, because the vet's like, hey, the wound was much deeper in her neck than we thought. And as a result of it, you're going to need to keep Sierra out of the backcountry for a minimum of 14 days and keep her physical activity extremely limited so that she doesn't pull anything on the interior and cause internal bleeding. So, the whole situation sucks, but I'm glad that Sierra is with me and that she's safe. And going forward, I will always have a 9mm on my hip when I'm out in the backcountry, and I'm going to be carrying bear spray with me, and then also 2 tactical knives, one in either pocket, and I'll go into an explanation of what that will be when I get all of the stuff. I'm going to get the gear when I get back into Wichita. And so I'll do a video as to what I'm going to use for protection in the backcountry and show you all. And just to let you know, in Colorado and also in Arizona, the police told me this. They said, if animals, specifically dogs, are coming at you aggressively and look as though they have the intent to cause harm, and that's what they're coming at you for, you have the right to put them down. 100%. Okay? So, you don't want to have to wait until those dogs are on you to try to fight back. You can actually neutralize the threat before it gets to you. So that's something that I'm going to definitely take to heart going forward. I will give owners, if they have dogs that are off leash that come at me aggressively, I'll give them a verbal warning. And if their dog gets close, it'll be met with bear spray. If the dog keeps coming, the 9mm will take it down. So that's how things are going to operate going forward. And it's just not worth it. All it takes is one incident to where stuff like this happens. And had I not been right there, and had the 2 other individuals not been right there, Sierra wouldn't be with us today. And I'm lucky I didn't get attacked. So that's what happened. We're gonna go ahead and cruise on over to Monarch, and gonna crash over at the Off-Grid Monastery this evening. That's what we call the Off-Grid Ranch. And I'm crashing there with Craig. He's my buddy that I do the podcast with, and who was in the previous video with the blind dog Rue. So we're gonna record a few podcasts. Excuse me, I had a huge breakfast. I got 6 eggs with my burritos. But we're going to record a few podcasts, and I'll crash there tonight, and then probably roll on into Kansas tomorrow or Tuesday. So anyway, we're going to get rolling. It's a beautiful place to camp here. I was in this place. It's called Boggy Downs, and it's by Dolores, Colorado. And it's kind of interesting. It's like, whoa. Sorry about that. It's kind of interesting. It's like the whole area has all these springs. It's actually kind of boggy. I mean, obviously the name is Boggy Downs, so naturally it would be boggy. But the area is pretty cool. It's got all this water running through it, and then pretty huge trees, and they're real healthy. So this is a good forest around here. Probably definitely be back. So if you're in the area, check it out. All right, next up, heading to Monarch. Gonna go check out the Off-Grid Ranch, do some podcasts.